My name is Bob Meyers. I'm president of the National Press Foundation. We are an independent nonprofit here in Washington. We do educational programs for journalists. I'm here because Mary Woolley talked to someone, and I couldn't do it last year, and so now I'm here, and I'm delighted to be here. I find that within our program realm, we do as many programs in health and public health as we can. I personally think there is no more important topic. I think all of you here and all of your colleagues are in fact unsung heroes. And in a bit, I'm going to tell you how you can get the singing a little bit louder. But I'm here to introduce Ann Saker, who is going to get your Excellence in Media Award. She is a journalist for WCPO Digital in Cincinnati. She has worked for Gannett News Organization and UPI here in town. She's worked for the News and Observer in Raleigh and the Oregonian in Portland. She did a series of articles for the website of WCPO Digital in Cincinnati on syphilis, which in Cincinnati was at epidemic proportions. Here's where you come in. It turns out that her editor, as editors often do when they're not screwing with reporters' copy, had a series of conversations with public health officials in Cincinnati, and that's appropriate. And the individual suggested there was a big story here. We can prove it. We've got the numbers. It's evidence-based. Syphilis is a major factor in our city. The editor thought of Ann, assigned the project to her. She produced 3 very detailed stories that are very well-rounded, interviewed with public health officials, CDC statistics, individuals affected, proposed solutions. Here's where you come in. It seems to me that people like you who have that kind of knowledge ought to be talking to editors in your cities and communities. And I'm just going to venture the crazy guess that there are more cities represented here than just Seattle. I don't know why I think that might be an issue. You know, call me crazy. But talk to those editors, talk to those reporters. Let them know what you see from your vantage point. And then perhaps the awards can start being not the unsung heroes, but we can start singing about those heroes. The people who benefit from that kind of work and the people who benefit from what Ann has done, not journalists, it's the public. It's the public whom you are concerned about. So having said that, let me introduce you to Ann.
Thank you very much, Bob. And I want to thank Carl and the Foundation for what has been a surreal but a wonderful experience today. Spending the day with Jim and with Julie blew my mind. The things I learned today have changed me, and that's always a good thing. I want to say, first of all, thank you to the Campaign for Public Health Foundation for the award, and for Mike Samet of the Hamilton County Public Health Department for nominating the series. I had no idea until Carl called me last month that it had been nominated, and that came as a delightful surprise. I also want to thank Holly Edgell, who is a wonderful editor at WCPO Digital, who took Mike's call several months ago about the epidemic of syphilis in Cincinnati and then assigned it to me. I think part of the appeal of the story is just being able to say, syphilis in Cincinnati. Because it's musical. But when I started finally drilling down into the story and I discovered how important and vital it was, how dangerous it was, how close we were in this country to actually eliminating syphilis at the turn of the millennium, And then doctors just forgot to test for it. And we started seeing a gigantic increase of it. And it's at pretty scary levels right now in Hamilton County. But the good thing about the story, and the good thing about a lot of public health stories, is that you can show that progress is being made. And as a writer, that's a really great thing, to be able to show readers that it's not all bad, that change is occurring. Your neighbors are doing that change, and we can do it together. I couldn't help but think today, as I was walking around the Capitol, of how many people I know, just if I were to sit down and rattle it off, how many people I know who would have done this story such a great service. But because of the implosion of our business, they're not doing this journalism anymore. So it's not entirely your fault that the message is not getting out. Sometimes there's not someone there to listen. But Bob is right. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call a reporter. Really, it's okay. The good reporters will take your call, and the bad ones you don't want to talk to anyway. So I encourage you, pick up the phone and make the call, because it might be me on the other end. And I may say, I'll be right out to see you. I'm humbled and honored to stand with the true heroes today, Jim and Julie, and all of you who serve the public by worrying about the public health. I think public health is a measure of progress for the human species. Each step forward, despite the difficulties and the hassles, becomes a profound chapter in our human story. As a writer and as a witness, I stand today here in awe of you. Thank you very much.